everybody. Happy Sunday. I hope everybody is ready for Labor Day weekend and enjoying their weekend so far. I am driving back from our amazing Pigeon Forge retreat that we held in Tennessee, and it was absolutely amazing and life-changing. Hey, Manny. Hey, Marie. So I wanted to pop in here driving home, and I got to thinking while I was driving about the 5 excuses that bariatric patients use to keep them stuck. And so I was like, what better time to come in here and talk about this? So the first one is, I'm too busy, or there's not enough time. That's the same thing. I'm too busy, there's not enough time. The second one, and I'm going to go back over them, is I'm too tired. I'm exhausted. I'm way too tired. The third one is I'm so overwhelmed. I'm so overwhelmed. The fourth one is I don't know how. I don't know how. And the fifth one is it is too hard. It's too hard. So I'm going to go back over I'm so busy and there's not enough time. And so we're going to bust up these excuses because these are BS excuses. And they're the stories that we tell ourselves that keep us stuck. Hey, Miss Janet. They're the stories that we tell ourselves to keep ourselves stuck, right? Because all of this has to do with the comfort zone. All of this has to do with being comfortable versus being uncomfortable, okay? So the first one is, I'm so busy, there's not enough time. And that's BS, because really the things that we're learning how to do on the front end may take a little bit more time because you're learning a new skill. It's kind of like if you went to a class, right? If you went to a class, you would be learning how to do something different. It would take some extra time. If anybody remembers when you learned how to drive, or when you learned how to ride a bike, or when you learned how to, not that you guys know how to surf, but if you did, right? Wouldn't that take some extra time to practice and to kind of get the hang of that skill before you just went and did it, right? So this lifestyle takes some new practice. But this whole excuse of I'm too busy or I don't have time is hogwash. Hey, Nikki. It's hogwash. The reason I say that is because you can be very efficient and effective with your time when you learn how to integrate these post-op practices into your lifestyle. And that's exactly what my clients learn how to do, is how to make themselves efficient and effective, and how to break things down into smaller chunks so that they don't get overwhelmed. Okay, so breaking it into smaller chunks is going to help you. Integrating it in your current routine is going to help you. And it's not about adding more to your to-do list, but actually being more efficient and effective in the day-to-day. Okay, so number one, too busy, or there's not enough time, it's an excuse, because when you can create time in your schedule for things that are important to you. Amen. All right, it is Sunday, so this is going to sound a little like, a little bit like a sermon. Hey, Karen, thank you. For those of you who don't know, we had like no cell service over the weekend. So like I was totally out of it. So I've been jonesing to get on here for a live. So thank you for the welcome back. All right. Number 2, I'm so tired. Guys, we're all tired because we're all busy. And just because we're busy and just because we're tired doesn't mean that we can't prioritize ourselves or this lifestyle and integrate it, right? So this whole thing of I'm too tired is also another way to keep us stuck, right? Because we can do something. We can pre-plan right? Thank you, Karen. I missed you too. We can pre-plan our meal preps. We can pre-plan our body movements. We can pre-plan our mindset routines. All of those things that kind of get us in the zone and to get us in flow that will help us to grow. By the way, I did not mean to make that rhyme. It just came out that way because and clearly everybody's passing me because I'm not going fast enough. I'm doing 75 and everybody thinks that, you know, this is like some kind of speedway. Anywho, so I'm too tired. I understand that in the post-op process, of course you're going to be tired. You're taking in a lot less calories than you did pre-op. And your body is learning how to become more efficient. Your body is learning how to burn calories and, your body already knows how to burn calories, but your body is working to be more efficient. And a lot of times when you're taking in a lot less calories, what ends up happening? Yeah, you do get tired, right? And yet you're also learning how to optimize. So when you move your body, a lot of people don't know this, but when you move your body, you actually get more energized. And so a lot of people say, I don't have time to exercise, right? That's number one. Or I'm so exhausted, I don't have the energy to exercise. Exercise actually gives you energy. So that's actually a falsehood that you don't have the energy to exercise. It's just starting. It's just getting up and getting your body to move and starting, right? And it creates endorphins. Absolutely, Nancy. So really working on the mindset of how is this going to help me, this whole thought process of I'm too tired, by breaking it down and saying, what can I do today that's going to energize me, that's going to give me more energy in the long run? That's something that you've got to change in here in order to get your body moving. Because the old habits of coming home and sitting on the couch, and not to say that everybody's done that, but I know I did that pre-op. Those old habits of coming home and just getting on the couch, they're not serving you. They're not getting you to where you want to go. And so really having a routine that's fun, that's exciting, that's going to stimulate your brain is going to be important, because guess what also happens when you're tired? What also happens when you're tired is your brain starts to go, I need something that's going to keep me awake. And then you start going and foraging for food in the kitchen. And then where does that get you? Back in the cycle that you don't want to be in. So this whole fallacy, this whole number 2 BS excuse that we're going to bust up, right, is I'm too tired. It's BS, right? And we've all had days where we're tired. And yet there's also an opportunity in that to say, ooh, what do I really need to re-energize myself? Okay? Excuse number 3. I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed. At any point in time in our lives, we're going to be overwhelmed because there's a lot going on and we are busy. And at the same time, being overwhelmed, I don't want to go so far as to say it's a choice, it's a habit. It's a bad habit that we get into of being overwhelmed by putting stuff on our plate that may not necessarily need to be there. Helping everybody and their brother, helping everybody and their sister, doing things for all of these committees, everybody else, and then that leaves you absolutely, I'm going to do something here, 0 time for yourself. 0 time for yourself. And then you're like, oh, but I'm so overwhelmed. I have all of these things going on. How can I possibly meal prep? How can I possibly go work out? You know, Kristen, I work 12-hour days and it's hard. Guess what, y'all? I work 12-hour days. And I still find time for self-care and moving my body. It's an integration, right? It's an integration. You find ways to integrate it into your day. And when you're dealing with overwhelm, you need to find ways, right? Create ways to break it down, right? Rome was not built in a day, And this whole weight loss post-op process, you're not going to lose it all in a day. And once you get to maintenance and then you say, then what, right? You're not going to get rid of the emotional eating in a day. So any of those things that you need to be working on, you're not going to get rid of the overwhelm, or clutter is something that is a huge thing. You're not going to get rid of the clutter in the day. So it's really breaking those things down, breaking down the little jobs that you have and saying, when can I integrate this in my day? When can I integrate this, and where can I integrate this in my lifestyle? What am I going to do this week, each and every day, to break it down for me? And that eliminates the, I'm too tired. Oh my gosh, I can't even begin to clean out my closet, Kristen. I'm so overwhelmed. And you want me to meal prep, and you want me to have a mindset routine, and you want me to exercise. So here's the thing, guys. You can do all of those things and live your regular lifestyle when you learn how to integrate them into your lifestyle. When you learn how to create.
Watch out, vehicle stopped on shoulder ahead.
See, don't you love that? You can learn how to integrate that in your lifestyle, and it becomes part of your lifestyle instead of a separate to-do list. So we want to integrate, okay? The next one, I don't know how. Well, this is a huge excuse. I don't know how. We can learn how. And again, it all starts by breaking it down and by being willing to learn. So my word of the day that I got when I was in meditation this morning before I left, and I didn't even know I was going to use it in this video, but before I left Pigeon Forge, I did a little mini meditation. We did a lot of stuff. It was so much fun. But we had an opportunity to share with all of the ladies how much they'd grown and what we saw in their journey this weekend. And as I was writing my notes, I kind of just sat in silence and asked for a message for myself. And the message that I got for myself that I think applies to this is curiosity. And curiosity, I think, is a really powerful message because I'm so busy. We're going here. We're going there. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to go to work. I got to come home. I got to feed the dog. There's all of these things that we're doing, right? Going back to busyness, that a lot of times we're not open to being curious about how we can really change and alter our path for the better, how we can grow on this journey and utilize and integrate new tools to become so much more effective and so much more efficient. Because while a lot of people say, okay, how do we get over emotional eating? Teach me how to get over emotional eating. I'm teaching you right now. Because when we talk about emotional eating is not a one and done. It's integrated in your daily life. The reason that people experience emotional eating is because they're stressed, because they say that they're way too busy and they don't have enough time for themselves. It's because they say they're too tired for themselves. It's because they say they're overwhelmed with their journey and they don't know where to begin. It's because they say they don't know how. And the reason I say that I don't know how is an excuse is I don't know how also is paired with I'm not learning. Or in this moment, I don't know how is an easy way for me to brush it off my shoulder and to go back to that victim mentality. And I know that's hard for a lot of people to hear. And I also know that some people might take that personally. Please don't. I say it with love. And I want you to capture the awareness of, ooh, okay, that hurt for a second. But wait a minute.
Watch out, vehicle stopped on shoulder ahead.
Don't you love Waze? But the awareness of where can I break this down? Where can I be more efficient? Where can I be more effective? How can I choose me? In little moments, day to day, how might I choose myself? How might I, or when may I, not only choose myself, but create a plan of action? When people hear plan of action, I think that they think it's going to be this 3-hour procedure. Guys, it doesn't have to be that way. You can create a breakfast in 20 minutes. You can create a lunch in 5. You can create a dinner in less than 30 minutes. And if you choose to do that a couple times a week, you can do that. And if you choose to do that once a week, where you have several meals and spend a couple hours in the kitchen, you can do that. It's all about really being a lot more productive with your time and prioritizing, and again, efficiency and effectiveness. And then it's also about going just a little bit deeper and understanding why you lean into the excuses, rather than kind of stepping into, like, what's the fear there, right? Because if you're not stepping into, okay, I'm open to learn, I'm open to the curiosity, I'm curious about this, how can I do this differently? How can I learn from others? How can I change my ways? And while the old behaviors of, let's say, going through a drive-through or picking up fast food, and it doesn't always have to be fast food, it could be quick food from the grocery store that's maybe got too much sodium or too much fat or what have you, that those are the easy choices. Where might you say to yourself, okay, let me slow down for 5 minutes and just look for some ways where I can make this easy? How can I make this easier for myself? Unfortunately, and this is going to go to number 5, we tend to make things harder rather than easier. And so number 4 is I don't know how, which is we're not leaning into our own curiosity. We're not practicing curiosity and being open to learn. And that's a step that you can take is, what can I do to learn? What can I do to be open and be curious about how I can do things differently? Moving your body, shifting your mindset, and practicing awareness of what you need in any given moment, because it's usually not food. And that's really understanding the difference in physical hunger and emotional hunger. And a lot of times you don't even know it's emotional hunger. The food is in your mouth before you
Watch out,
recognize
vehicle
it.
stopped on shoulder ahead.
The food is in your mouth before you even recognize it, because you haven't learned to slow down. And slowing down is not hard. It's just slightly uncomfortable until you get used to it, until you practice curiosity. That's like, I wonder what that's about. I wonder what that's meant to teach me. So, the 5th excuse is it's too hard. It's too hard. I just can't do it. It's too hard. I can't do it. And I'm here to bust up that excuse, because it is absolutely not too hard. If any of us can do it, if I can do it, you can do it. I am no more special than you are. I do not have any magic skills. It's just a matter of applying principles and productivity tools that you can make things a whole lot easier for yourself. Essentially, life skills. Life skills. Life skills make things easier. Oh, I'm so glad you love it. Thank you. That's when I used to start exercise. Yes. So when you say it's too hard, you don't do it. And Karen said it's too, that's the one she uses when it's too hard to exercise, or she didn't say too hard, but I'm going to say too hard. Exercise. And so it's like, okay, I'm just going to go for a walk for 5 minutes, or I'm just going to walk in place right here in my living room for 5 minutes. And your brain says it's too hard, but movement, right? Again, there's also the linguistic piece of exercise, right? So if the word exercise actually gives you the willies, use a different word. Move your body, movement, fitness, like whatever resonates with you, use a different word. Additionally, start with 5 minutes. Anybody and everybody can do 5 minutes. Even those peeps who may be watching this video who are wheelchair bound, guess what, guys? You can do it in a chair. You can move your arms for 5 minutes. You can do anything for 5 minutes. And Aletha says that she just came back inside from her walk and she feels so much better. Why? Because it produces endorphins. And a little walk outside, we're not running a marathon, we're not sprinting, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Keep it simple. And so these excuses, busy, not enough time, tired, overwhelmed, I don't know how, and it's too hard, all of those things. Oh, I love you guys too. I don't know, it's too hard. Conversation with my nutrition counselor yesterday. Thanks for busting it up. Oh, I'm so glad, Michelle. Okay, it's too hard. I don't know how. Open yourself to curiosity. Break it down. The number one tool here is break it down. The second thing, integrate it into your routine. So another great idea, right? If you guys are going to work, take the stairs. I know you've heard it a zillion times, but these are the ways that you can get in some little things into your daily routine.
Watch out, vehicle stopped on shoulder ahead.
Don't you love that? And they become easy. They become easy. And so your little mindset shift for today, right, that I'm busting up your excuses is I am open to being curious. I am open to learning how to make it easy. I am open, right, to prioritizing myself in my day. Exactly. These baby steps make a huge difference. The 5% you can do, the 5 minutes you can do, all I'm asking everybody to do is a 2 millimeter shift. If you guys can't meal prep for the whole week, meal prep one dinner for the week. That's it. Meal prep one dinner for the week. And start writing some notes to yourself about not only I can do it, because that seems like a very simplistic thing to say, although it's important. But another thing that you could say to yourself is you can start writing notes to yourself that are encouraging, that are loving, that are hopeful. Because here's the other thing that I know is that when you're encouraging and loving and hopeful, that voice may not be around when you want to get started doing whatever. And so that voice needs to be cultivated when you have it, so then you can use it in the time where you don't know where it went. Like where you have the negative Nellies on the inside of your head, just like spitting fire, just like telling you you can't, telling you that you suck, telling you that it's hard, telling you that there's no way, no how. And so you need that voice of love and compassion, and that little girl that's going to kick your ass writing you notes that says, self, you can do this. All of this stuff that you're too busy, it's BS, because that 30 minutes that you're watching XYZ show, you can do this at the same time. All of that time that you say you don't have time, or that you're too busy, or that you're too tired, I know that you can do X or Y. I know you can keep it simple. I know that you can do one of these 2 or 3 things, and cultivating this challenge as a practice. All of these like motorcycles, they're like weaving in and out of lanes. So, all right, getting over. All right. So that's what I've got for you tonight, right? When you practice this for yourself, it gets easier, and you can use them to fight off temptations 100%. So